Welcome back to the Gaming and Gaming Accessories podcast. I'm Garrett,
Oh, I'm Ben, I think.
and today we got our special Monster Hunter expert with us for the podcast. Um,
Hello, that's me.
He doesn't have a name.
that's
I
him.
don't have a name.
He doesn't have a name, but
Parents didn't like him enough.
today we're going to be going over our weekly gaming news. Minecraft servers are illegal. Ben's going to be going over his DK Bonanza experience because he's spent a lot
I,
of time
I'm in
monkeying
the field.
around.
It's true.
And another big one, no more PlayStation discs in 2028. We're going to dive into that a little bit. And then we're finally going to do the aforementioned Monster Hunter history. We're going to talk a little bit about Monster Hunter Wilds, how it launched, the negativity behind the PC release, and then we're going to go into some Monster Hunter lore with our resident Monster Hunter expert here,
Eh,
who still doesn't have a name.
that'd be a name drop at one point.
Okay, all right. So I guess starting with Minecraft servers are illegal. Pulling up that article that I should have already pulled up. I'm so unprepared, you know. Private Minecraft servers are called illegal by game industry lobbyists, declaring as another Stop Killing Games effort is struck down in California. Um, Ben, are you familiar with the Stop Killing Games? I believe we talked about it a few times on the podcast.
We did. We talked about it, I think, in one of the past episodes. But we talked probably a little more about their EU side of things. But to be honest, I didn't even know there was a California initiative ongoing.
Yeah, it was heard at, I think, was it EU Parliament that did a hearing for it?
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't know it was in being heard in California either. But essentially,
Yeah.
what happened was there was, according to the lobbying group, let's see, Entertainment Software Association. Okay, during the hearing, they said private Minecraft servers are illegal. To quote them, they said they're illegal. They're not in any way affiliated with Microsoft, according to Jennifer
Yes.
Gibbons, Vice President for State Government Affairs at the Entertainment Software Association.
Yeah.
Microsoft for Minecraft has gotten a lot of criticism because those community servers are not employing the same safety standards that Microsoft does on their Minecraft servers. So Gibbons later made the assertion that private servers are tantamount to piracy. That's so out of touch because you can download the tools to start a Minecraft server for free.
Well,
from
the rebuttal to that is it's just Mojang allowing you to use those tools, or Microsoft allowing you to use those tools, and then thereby that right can be easily as taken away. Although you would think if they're giving you the right to use them, then you're supposed to use them, what they're intended for,
right. So
which is making your own server.
This week, I got a Minecraft server up. I'm not hosting it, but I'm playing on it, and
I will be posting the link.
I immediately sent this article over to my buddy who's hosting the server and said, "Hey, you're breaking the law. Take it down." But
whoa, yeah, that's true.
This is what even is the Entertainment Software Association? What even is that?
It's a group of lobbyists
that
from the industry.
Entertainment Association, Software Association is a trade association of the video game industry formed in April 1994 as the Interactive Digital Software Association, renamed in 2003, based in Washington, D.C. Okay, what do? We help expand and protect innovation in the video games industry.
They make sure that video game makers get more money and that less people can steal what they have.
So it's like video game union?
I guess.
Probably like the inverse. It's just likely it's a political group that, lobbies for policies that will benefit game makers, including those that would be at the, deficit or detriment of the people who actually play the games.
Right. Okay.
Big surprise.
More of a reason
And
not.
obviously, they'd be
How
against something like
private-
stop killing games because they would consider that an infringement on the rights of
Game developers.
the publisher, I suppose.
How private do they mean? Do they explain it like what was it, Hive or whatever? Is that what they're considering private, or is it just like
I think
the
it's any
server that we have is
non-Microsoft.
3 people?
Yeah, it's any
Okay,
that could be
wow.
Hypixel. It could be Joe Schmo.
That's crazy.
Wow,
That's
just-
because like they though not well, from what I know, they do enforce the servers. Like if you report the server, then Microsoft like Mojang will step in and deal with any issues
Right.
they need to. Though I said they're not really the best at it. Like you could argue maybe Microsoft should be better at handling these situations instead of just saying, "Oh, they're illegal." That's stupid.
That's really stupid.
Only a tad.
According to ESA, the provision in the Protect Our Games Act that proposed these servers as legitimate alternatives to keep games running raises concerns about a publisher's ability to enforce their IP rights.
There you go.
In addition,
what did
private
I
servers
say?
operate with no oversight from the publisher and do not uphold the same trust and safety standards. This could create an unsafe environment for players and be counter to the industry's commitment to fostering safe and fun gameplay for all players. Hot take, right? Parent your children, and if they're playing on a inappropriate Minecraft server, stop
That'd be
them.
nice. It'd be nice if people would parent their children. I don't think that's
Right?
going to happen anytime soon. No.
Microsoft should not have to. We got to keep your child safe on Minecraft. That's our no. It's the parents' responsibility. It's not the responsibility of these people, even though they might want it to be. Right? Like we already know how
Yeah.
bad Roblox was, and I think it's crazy that
Yeah.
all the stuff that's going on with Roblox now in the controversies in the media and whatnot was going on when we were 11, right?
Yeah.
It was all going on. It just didn't. Online safety was like, okay, here's what you shouldn't do online, but also you're a kid, so it's really your parents. Your parents should be monitoring what you're doing online. Ugh, that's so wild that these lobbyists think that it's their responsibility. Anyway,
I think it also kind of goes into like modding as well. Like and like Portal 2, like how is the publisher going to enforce the longevity of games that have been allow for modding as well? I
right.
mean, obviously Minecraft allows modding, but I don't know. That's
know
just
that.
such a terrible weak argument to try and make.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
I
surprised
mean,
it
it's the
was.
argument with the most money behind it. So,
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
not to be too cynical, but
Well,
I don't think Microsoft. This is to say, they're saying that Microsoft could, in theory, say we don't want anybody running servers. They're not going to. I don't think that's realistic.
isn't so.
This is just some lobbyists, saying this is what we could do if you all don't stop acting up.
A little bit of another news story that I probably should have put in here. But speaking of that, I think Microsoft is going to be disconnecting from Xbox and thus disconnecting from
Oh,
Minecraft. They are.
interesting.
I saw one article that said, "Oh, Microsoft is selling Xbox." That's not entirely what they're doing. They're essentially making it a subsidiary, and it's the new
Oh.
CEO of Xbox is there's probably going to be a ton of layoffs, but it's going to make Xbox its own company. So that way they don't have to follow all of the same rules that big corpo Microsoft wants, like subscription tiers and listening to the big corpo like Microsoft investors, and they can go be their own company with their own strategies and hopefully see success. I believe they mentioned that they're going to be putting most of their effort into their heavy hitter titles like I believe it was Fallout and
Whoa.
two others, two of their big exclusives, right? Two of their other big exclusives,
Effort into making them
Halo,
worse.
Fallout, and one of the other
Persona.
ones.
Ooh.
But this also including Minecraft. So I think Minecraft's going to see more effort because honestly, right? They've got a big development team over there at Xbox working on Minecraft. You'd have to really convince me that they're all actually working on Minecraft every day.
They aren't.
No way. No way. They put out a new mob every like.
I ain't doing anything.
They put out a new mod every a mob. I mean, every what couple years.
Yeah,
Like
and
why? Why do a
I
vote?
hate the creature vote. It's like it's such a common argument now, but it really is just like just do all of them.
Yeah, just
Man.
add all of them. You guys can have one mob or glow squid. You guys like glow squid?
That's the other thing. Is like at least make them useful.
So Minecraft might be in a better place coming here soon, depending on what happens with Xbox as a whole. But I don't think they would ever say, nope, no more Minecraft servers. Like that would be killing a huge player base.
Yeah, which is it still the most sold game? I don't remember.
Yes, I believe so.
So
Most sold
you'd be
game of all
missing out
time.
on millions upon millions of players because then you don't have servers. No one's gonna play single player Minecraft.
No, no.
And all the Microsoft, I don't like play them. Obviously, well, I don't play them, but I watch someone who sometimes goes onto like the Microsoft funded servers, mainly to make fun of them because they're all terrible.
They all suck.
Like no one's gonna play on them.
Whoa, I just dropped something. All right. Ben, would you like to talk about
Drop the
DK
ball.
Bonanza and your
Yes.
time monkeying around on your Nintendo Switch 2?
Dude, stop saying that. But yeah, no. I got Bonanza. Say, was it just last week? Or maybe, I
It
think
was
it might have
not
been the week
last
before that.
week. Yeah, 2 weeks, I think.
It was either that or the week before. Yeah. Either the week before or the week before. And admittedly, I kind of just wanted to check it out because I knew it was one of like the actual exclusives for the Switch 2. Because I think we talked when we first came back about me getting a Switch 2, which I did, and I got it primarily to play Tomodachi Life, which I have just not followed up on. I will be honest, but I'll get back to that eventually. Point of it is though, I thought maybe I'll check out one of the Switch 2 launch titles, see what they got going on, and I was honestly really surprised because I had never played Odyssey that much. I played like maybe a few minutes at my cousin's house or something back when it like first came out.
Right.
Um,
And for context, it's the same developer, which is why he's mentioning that.
yeah, same developer and a very, at least to my understanding, a very similar sort of gameplay loop cycle, so on. But I personally was really impressed by Bonanza. I think the best way I can think to describe it is trying to hark back to like the kind of almost Banjo-Kazooie-esque collectathon, where your kind of main goal outside of like whatever story content or stuff that you're kind of going through to get to the next area is to run around and collect like there's fossils, there's the bananas because you're a monkey/ape. And most of it is just like running around and like doing little puzzles or trying to just find your way to these various locations that contain what you need. And the bananas are also what you spend on your level ups. Because once you collect 5, you get a skill point, and then you get better at being Donkey Kong. But no, it's one of those games. It's honestly don't mean to put this down or put it down or anything, but it is a very simple game in like its base gameplay loop of just run around and find more banana and then move on. And the story is not anything to, how do you say, look at. It doesn't matter. Barely matters. And like it's nice. What it is nice, but it's not special by any means. There's like a few, especially near the end, there's actually a lot of cool moments, which I won't spoil. Because like I honestly kind of got into it, especially then like the story part, but the gameplay part is very consistent throughout, I would say. And I think at least two things that really make it for me in that category is first, the destructibility. I think it's so interesting to see a game world. It's not like to say there aren't games who have done this before and that this is, an entirely unique thing. But especially I think for a Nintendo game, to have a game world that is fully destructible. Like there are still things, certain like quest points that you can't permanently destroy, but most of the terrain you can just tear up, throw around, punch through, do whatever you want, and like you can pick it up and surf on it. It's crazy. It's really cool, and it allows like for some uniqueness in terms of your traversal, and it kind of just allows you to a lot more freedom of movement than I was expecting, which is it's fun to kind of just dig your own way and make your own path and the like. Some of like the main NPCs in the games are these little crystal guys, and you can totally just punch and destroy them. But they like instantly reform, so they're okay. But it's I almost everyone I talked to, I would immediately end conversation and then just absolutely destroy him, just like shatter him into 1,000 pieces. It was awesome.
Bro,
No, and like
so
even
mean.
like the same thing with like all of the lore entries. Like there's these, little word walls on them that like have some text about like, oh, this guy did this and blah blah blah. You can just break the shit out of them before you can even read them, which I did at least once or twice.
Okay.
It's just neat. It's neat how much they committed to that bit. And as well, the other thing is, as the name of the game may imply, your big power up is the bonanza. And while I won't spoil it too much, you basically get to transform into a bunch of different animals, and you get a bunch of different powers. So like a lot of them do kind of play around with the game's already doing. So like one of them is just Kong Bonanza, and you just get extra super strong punch. One lets you go really fast. One lets you
You're going
jump really high. But no, and like aside from that, just allowing some diversity in the way that you explore and interact with the environment. In those zones specifically, there are puzzles built around those forms, and like out of the puzzles in the game, there are like some really clever area mechanics that kind of took me a while to figure out, even though this is a children's game, so that might say more about me than anybody else. But
it does.
No, it's a really enjoyable experience. I think I was thinking about it myself, and I was like, now how much I enjoyed this game, does that make it worth it? Does that make the $450 console worth it? In other words, is it a game purchasing a console over? I would say probably not. Probably because I wouldn't really say any game's worth purchasing a console over.
Yeah, but I think
but
right now a little bit of news over the past week. Microsoft announced that the Xboxes are going up $100 to $150, right? The Switch 2 at the $450 price tag is currently the best deal in gaming.
Well, sure, yeah. But more along the line of, would I buy a Switch just to play Bonanza 2? And I would say it's not that great of a game, but it's a really solid, really fun game. And I think it kind of made me reappreciate the Switch, because not in a long time have I really had that opportunity to just kind of go anywhere, do anything, and I can just like, I can play with my Kong right now.
Really?
And that's how I play a lot of it. I was, which once again might not sound like glowing praise. I played a lot of it while I was like quote unquote watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Well, Nintendo
awesome.
games are kind of like Nintendo games. You can generally play them like while like kind of having something on in the background.
Do some multitasking. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's a funny show, by the way. And that's
official GGA review.
Yeah, we'll get that next time.
So, yeah, I've heard good things about it. I have it because my wife bought it.
We'll have to.
So I need to actually play it.
If you actually play it, we could really get into.
We could really get into the
all
review.
of the volumes that are contained within Bonanza.
But yeah, I think the Nintendo Switch 2, of course, it is going up $50. They did it. Shareholders be shareholders, because Nintendo really came to the shareholders and were like, hey, we're making a ton of money on the Switch 2. And the shareholders were like, yeah, but
great,
but
more.
you could make more though. What if you made a whole nother $50 per unit? And Nintendo's like, well, we
True.
don't have to. We're
I
making
agree.
record profits. And they're like, yeah, but you could have record profits.
You could have record-breaking
So
profits.
from what I can tell, the $50 upcharge is not. It's a shareholder thing, not because
Makes
they're.
sense.
So, but even at $500, right? It's still honestly, right? Because didn't we had a buddy who bought a Switch 2 as well, got Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Poor guy.
They had a pick a game bundle. It
That's true.
was oh man, how
I
much
think it's
was
Mario
that?
Kart, right?
It was Mario Kart, DK Bonanza,
Bonanza,
and one other one.
and some game nobody cares about, probably.
What is that? I can't tell. What is that?
Some dumb trash.
Pocopia.
Yep. See.
For $4.99,
What?
right? So you can get a Switch 2 and one of those games. That game is
Okay.
then $50, right? So right now, because again, it's September when I think the price increase is going to hit. Right now, for $500, you can get a Switch 2 and either Mario Kart World, DK Bonanza, or Pokemon Pocopia, which has been a lot of people have been saying they like that game. I don't know. I don't think it's for me, but which is in terms of since the Xbox Series S that came out in 2020 for $299 is now $499. Right? And you're getting a Switch for $450 that is also a handheld, right? So you get the handheld. The Xbox is not a handheld. Right now, the Switch 2 is the best deal in gaming because even like the PC handhelds like the ROG Ally are much more expensive. The Steam Deck, just went up to what was it for a 512 gigabyte for a Steam Deck OLED 512 gig, it's like $700 some dollars. That's a lot more than 450.
Yeah.
So while I do not like what Nintendo did with raising the price of the original Switch by $50, raising the Switch OLED from $350 to $400 just to make the $450 for the Switch 2 seem more appealing. I'll give it to them, right? I don't like a lot of stuff they do, but they make solid exclusives. Like I played Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch 2, the Switch 2 Enhanced Edition. I know that was on Switch 1, but it ran so shitty I didn't play it, and I loved it. The Switch 2 hardware, and they got this new mode on there. I don't remember if we talked about it, but this is pretty recent. They put out a firmware update for the Switch 2s that's called like enhanced mode or something. The entire Switch 1 library is now enhanced to because on the Switch 1, when you were playing in handheld, games ran at 720p, like 30 FPS, but when docked, it was 1080p and up to 60 FPS. Some games were dynamic frame rates where they would adjust depending on the load of the game. Every Switch 1 game will now run as if it's docked on the Switch 2 handheld. So you're getting docked Switch 1 performance on the Switch 2 running handheld. So it essentially tells it, hey, run in docked mode. So the entire Switch 1 library just got enhanced, essentially. And that was just a free update. That's a good thing, because that's all your old games. They're now better on this new console. And
Monster Hunter Rise will run good on portable on Switch 2.
No.
Speaking of... Wait. No, we had to talk about the PlayStation disc.
Nope.
That was almost a great transition, but it's not. No more PlayStation discs in 2028. So coming from blog.playstation.com. So this is right from Sony. Physical disc production ending in January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation. We knew this would happen. We just knew it would. Because
it's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad, honestly. It's an end of an era. Because forever we had discs, and PlayStation was the one console and I've said this on the podcast before, they are the one console, I guess, besides Nintendo, but Nintendo has a couple games that are like key cards. But mostly the whole game's on the cartridge with the Switch. But Xbox was always selling you game keys with your discs. You were getting a key. I tested it on my original Xbox One back when I had it. I had Overwatch on the disc at first when it first came out. And then I bought the digital. It was the same download. All the disc does is trigger the download of the game and let you launch it on an Xbox. On a PlayStation, and I tested this myself too, I have the disc for Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4. If you put that in a PS5, you will download, or a PS4, you will download the version 1.0 of Cyberpunk. It's on the disc. So this really is an end of an era because now they're no more physical games. That means going forward, you won't be able to when the shop shuts down, you just won't be able to get your games back.
Oh, that was the other thing. They're shutting down some of the PlayStation 2, and I don't want to say the other one. There's another PlayStation shop that they're closing down though. So no more games on those consoles as well.
Oh, is it Vita? Let's see.
It might be.
It might be
Forgot
Vita,
about that one.
because Vita was pretty. It's pretty old. Or it I don't know. Let's I'll have to look into that. But yeah, this is. I mean, obviously Sony looks at something like Steam, right? And they're like, man, all their games are digital, and people are okay with it. Why can't we do it? Also, it would save us so much money on manufacturing discs and cases. Also, we don't have to deal with the stores. With retail, we can sell it directly on the PlayStation Store and take our 30% cut. Why wouldn't we?
I think, okay, this source comes from a Moist Critical video. But I think he mentioned that PlayStation still wanted to like keep like, oh yeah, you can still go to the store. So they're still gonna have like the cases, but kind of like with what I know at least,
GTA 6.
some of like the GTA 6 things is you get the case and then you just get like a piece of paper that says here's your code, go download it.
So we're not reducing the usage of plastic, which could have been like, oh, we're helping the environment by doing this because they're doing the GTA 6. They saw Rockstar and they're like, wait a minute, what if we did that across our entire brand?
It's just so silly.
At least Nintendo's giving you a game key card. You still get a cartridge. The game's not on it, but you still get a cartridge. Oh man, like why not just at that point? We already have the digital download cards that you go into Target and you get the code printed on your receipt or GameStop. Why even manufacture the case? So you have a game case that has no disc in it and it's sitting on your shelf. It's like, wow, look at my game collection. Too bad there's nothing in here. Like,
too bad there's no games.
I don't. Oh no. Oh, you meant PS3 when you said that. PS2 didn't have a digital store.
Yeah. PS3
yeah, I see that down at the bottom of the article. Important updates on PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita, which is probably changes that start this year, followed by global changes in 2027. PlayStation Store continues to evolve. PlayStation Store on PS3 will close in late 2026 in Latin America and Middle Eastern countries. August 2026 in Mexico. July 2027 for all other countries. So PS3 and PS Vita are losing their stores. If you have digital games, go download them now and pray that your hard drive doesn't die in those things because you won't be able to go get them back. But Nintendo, please don't send your lawyers. If it's anything like what happened with the 3DS and the Wii U shutting their stores down, Homebrew took off right after that happened. I'm not going to state what and where, but let's just say immediately after Nintendo shut down the eShop, all of the Homebrew people said, okay, fair game. hey, you want to download every 3DS game ever? Come download our homebrew shop. Because at that point, right, the whole point of piracy, right, quote unquote, is hey, you can buy my game legally, do not pirate it. Well, you just took away
Yeah.
my any means of buying this game legally now. If I was to go get a cartridge, a 3DS cartridge, I would have to buy it from somebody used. That money does not go to Nintendo. Nintendo already sold that game. So, why is it ethically wrong for me to go download the game? Right?
I actually have a question now.
Yeah.
Now, forgive me, I haven't watched all of the Cool and Funny podcasts, but have you guys talked about the kind of onslaught that we've had in the recent years of remakes, redos, re-whatevers?
No, but we really should. That's a really good
Because
topic idea.
could this be a reason that people are shutting? I mean, obviously, the shops, they're like wasting data, but could this be enforcing that of like, oh, you don't have any way of getting it? Oh, well, I guess we have to remake it for the new systems now,
You
which is
know,
a way, hey,
That is
and
a point to
old
be made
fans
there.
like this.
that ties directly into the Stop Killing Games Act, and a lot of the stuff that they're trying to stop is many times game developers will shut down their old games because it will push you to play the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked briefly on that portion. Like I think I spoke about like why did it take Nintendo so long to put Pokemon Fire Red on the Switch? Like we just got it this year.
Yeah.
Why did it take them so long to do that? Well,
They're lace.
go play new Pokemon. Go pay $70 for new Pokemon instead of $20 for old Pokemon. But
Because like
yeah,
this is gonna get into conspiracy theory real quick. But PlayStation has already said no more PlayStation games on PC. Now they're saying no
yes,
more PS3 and Vita game, and they keep increasing the prices of PlayStations.
right.
Hey, you like this old game on PlayStation 3? Hey, look, come buy a PlayStation 5 so you can play the remake of it now.
Whoa.
Or they have a service for called PS Now where you can not download and play but stream PlayStation 3 games.
Oh, let's be honest, that's gonna get removed at some point. That's
But
too convenient for the players.
yeah, but again, it's that's a constant monthly payment rather than playing, than buying it on a PS3.
Yeah.
More money.
Does it run like a PlayStation 3 would, or does it play like or run like a PlayStation 5 because it's
Oh,
streaming?
it just streams the game as if it was played on a PS3 basically.
So it probably runs worse than those.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
game streaming sucks if you don't have
Dang.
like great upload speed because the latency is awful. But I don't want to take up our entire time here. Looks like I think we've discussed pretty much everything. So, Monster Hunter. But we're going to talk a little bit about Wilds first cuz that's the most current game, and I wanted to speak on the release of Monster Hunter Wilds, where it is today, kind of why it received negative reviews, what kind of impact that's had on it currently, and then we want to do a big little like lore exploration a little bit for our resident Monster Hunter guy, which I invited him on to do that. So Monster
Yippee.
Hunter
What?
Wilds. I have the Steam page here. Monster Hunter Wilds released in February of 2025, receiving mixed reviews as of recent, and I believe they were mostly mixed on launch too. Give or take, looking at the chart, it looks like they were a little bit more on the positive side around launch, but they've kind of evened out to about 46.6 positive and 53.4 negative percent as of currently. And The biggest thing was how it performed on PC. I remember running the benchmark, like the or the Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark, and like sending them on to a couple Discord servers, being like, "Yo, look what I got! Here's my benchmark without frame gen. Here's my benchmark with frame gen." Because Capcom said we recommend using frame gen for this game, which is already a bad sign if you're going to talk optimization when PC's the only platform that has frame gen. And if you have a developer that's saying, "Hey, you're probably going to want this. You're probably going to want to use this." That's not a good sign for what's to come. And it was a tough game to run. Like, I remember getting a solid 60 FPS around on the benchmark was not easy.
No, I don't think I even close to it. I'll be honest.
I wonder.
That was on the old PC.
I wonder if I can pull up on. Let's see. I think I sent them in this Discord server, and I think it was in Games General. Nobody ever talks in Games General, so I don't think I would have to swipe up very far.
The General of Games.
Yeah, General of Games. Yeah. Okay. I barely swiped up, and we're already at
10 games.
At March of 2025. Wow. Okay. No one talks in this. I found it. Yeah, I didn't have to scroll up very long. Looks like I got excellent. I got 68.26 FPS on my benchmark. And this was, I can't tell if this was that was without frame gen. 116 with frame gen. And this was on my 7800 XT, which was a mid to high end GPU. Now, did Capcom, does anybody know, did they change their minimum system requirements, or has it been the same?
The minimum or recommend? You said minimum.
Minimum, yeah. Minimum and recommended, honestly. Did they change it at all, or is it still the same as it was on launch?
I think if nothing else, they kind of just verbally said, "Oh yeah, we're kind of lowering it," because they did do so many changes to it. But I don't know if they physically changed it, Steam or anything.
Okay, I'm looking it up real quick. Oh, okay, they did. They lowered it. They lowered the system requirements. They reduced both heart-based demands, the minimum and the recommended, and the SSD storage footprint. Okay. Well, that's cool. So I don't actually have the original system requirements. Let me see if I can find them real quick for us. Let's see. OG, Monster Hunter. Jamie, pull that one up for me. Okay, so... Okay, here's a post from a year ago with Monster Hunter's official PC requirements for the Steam version. So it's saying 1080p, this is minimum, by the way, 1080p upscaled, 30 FPS, Core i5 10600, Core i3 12100F, or Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gig RAM, GTX 1660 Super, which is like below a 2060, an RTX 2060, Radeon RX 5600 XT, 6 gigs of VRAM, 140 gigabyte SSD required. Game is upscaled to 1080 from 720p, 30 FPS under the lowest graphics settings. Direct storage supported. Recommended specs were 1080p, 60 FPS with frame gen enabled, by the way. This is not a real 60 FPS. This is 1080p, full HD, 60 FPS with frame gen. i5 11600K, i5 12400, Ryzen 5 3600X, Ryzen 5 5500, 16 gigs of RAM, a 2070 Super, which is way higher than a 1660 Super, RTX 4060, or Radeon RX 6700 XT, 8 gigabyte VRAM, 140 gigabyte SSD. Game is expected to run at 1080p 60 with frame gen, so this is no upscaling, no resolution upscaling, with medium graphics settings was their recommended. So their recommended was use FrameGen. And I see a comment from 2 years ago that says, "I'm a little bit scared, guys." Now looking at the official Steam today, rather than boring you and reading through all the specs again, the CPU did not change, but the minimum graphics card went down from a 1660 Super to a 1660, and from a Radeon RX 5600 XT to a 5500 XT. And the storage went from 140 gigabytes to 75 gigabytes. And then for the recommended, the processors actually went down from the 3600X to the 3600, so same as the minimum. Yeah, the processors did not go up or they actually went down to match the minimum. They didn't go up at all like originally. 16 gig RAM still. They went down from 2070 Super to 2060. That's like 3 cards down, because there's the 2070 regular, the 2060 Super, and then down to the 2060, and then the RX 6600. So to achieve the same performance of that 1080p 60 FPS with FrameGen, which means overall the game now runs the same on weaker hardware as it did on the other hardware. And going down 3 tiers of GPU for your recommended is nothing to scoff at, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Going from recommended 2070 Super, which at the time was well, let's see, this came out in 2025. In 2025, that was you could say, lower end, because it's also said 4060. So that's like mid-range, like a low to mid-range card, to an even lower card, much lower, because the 2060 came out. That was a low end card, like a budget card, in 2019, and this is 2025, or I guess you could say 2026, and it's pretty good. I was able to get it running on a handheld on the Lenovo Legion Go with the Ryzen Z1 Extreme, which is the same chip that's in the ROG Ally if you get the Z1 Extreme version. And that's crazy. Getting this game running, it would not have ran on these systems prior. Title Update 4 was a big update for Monster Hunter Wilds. I even had a buddy who couldn't run it on his laptop originally, and now he was able to play through the entire game. So, I'm yapping a lot. Let me get some input from you guys. How did the title update, how did you guys like that? I immediately noticed it even on my high-end hardware. Like, oh, the game is running better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Do you remember what title update you started playing on, or if you were like there from the start? I don't remember.
So I wasn't quite there from the start. I did the beta in February of 25, but I wonder if my Steam has like the thing where it says like started up, played Monster Hunter Wilds for the first time kind of thing. Let me
Oh,
check.
you just go pretty far back for that, but yeah, definitely be able to.
I would, but I might be able to. You guys can talk while I do this. I know
Yeah,
I was before Title Update 4, for sure.
right. It's just as someone who played from the start, I could actively feel like every update, it definitely felt better. And this was on the old computer.
Right.
So at that point it was already not running like super. I'm pretty sure I did have to play on medium. I basically had to do recommended specs, and even then I could barely hit 60. But it did feel like every update it was getting slowly better and better, which I loved to see. But then almost immediately at once with Title Update 4 coming out, it was night and day basically between when I think I did have the new computer for that one. It was still running like fairly good. And then when it came out, it was now it's max settings with ultra resolution, or ultra texture pack resolution, whatever it's called.
Yeah, high-res textures.
And high res textures.
Oh.
And it was incredible. The only issue I have with it still, which we've talked about before, I don't know if it's a Monster Hunter thing or if it's a Microsoft thing, is tabbing out and then it dropping by like 100 frames from 160 down to just 60 is a little annoying, to say the least. But other than that, I can't complain about the performance of the game. Really, it's so smooth now, hardly any crashes, at least for me. And yeah, it's just been incredible.
Yeah, I haven't had any
I
crashes recently. I know I was a little bit when the Final Fantasy collab was around. I crashed a few times, but I haven't crashed recently. Also, I found out how to find it. I need to go to my Steam achievements or go to my games, go to my achievements for Monster Hunter Wilds, and then find the first achievement I unlocked. Dang. Hunted. Oh, okay. Windward Lands completed the mission Desert Trotters May of 2025. So that was the game came out in February, right?
Yeah, February 28th.
So I was 3 months after launch.
Yeah.
Is when I
Okay,
actually
so you were there before title update.
I remember the reason I didn't is because I was mid semester or something. Mid like what do they call that? Spring semester, and I waited until after to start the game. Because I promised you,
Which is
I
a
promised
good
you, I
idea.
played it. I was like, I promise, I will play this Monster Hunter, and I got hooked. So, yeah,
Good.
that was
Unlike
May.
the other guy here.
Yeah, I don't see any months earlier than that. So it was May of 2025 when I completed the first quest in the storyline. So
Mhm.
if we
So, that was actually after title update 1. So
that
between
was
title
after.
update 1 and 2 is when you started.
Yes. So it was after title update 1, which
Yeah.
what did that I saw, do you remember that roadmap they put out? I had it and now I just completely lost it.
Oh. Well, title update 1 should have been of course with like the Haru Zoshia and Mizutsune
Right.
had the Spring Festival as well. I was
I'm
trying to get you to rush
wondering
through the game for to get to.
June 2025. Here we go. Okay. Yes. So April 3rd, 2025 was their first major update. I'm looking at the Steam. It says release date April 4th, 2025. New monsters can now be hunted. Mizutsune has been added. Temperate Mizutsune has been added. Zoshia has been added in high rank. New story. But to step away from that, specifically bug fixes were in this update. I don't see anything about specifically calling out performance issues.
I do remember they
Actually,
did try
Steam improvements
a
were
little.
made to VRAM usage and direct
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah, no, it was every
Yes.
title update had a little bit to it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't enough. And then title update 4 happened, and then that's when they did everything.
Do you remember like how much VRAM Monster Hunter, even this was after the first title update, it was eating like 16 gigabytes of VRAM from my 20 gigabyte VRAM card at the time, which is crazy. Like,
No, I know because it was using 16 of my 12 gigabyte VRAM.
so it was, which causes performance issues when a card runs out of VRAM. When a game runs out of VRAM, it really starts stuttering. So, yeah, okay. I started playing right when the Street Fighter collab came out, and then we get to title update 2 in June. Looking at bug fixes, we got, let's see, they fixed a lot with the weapons here. A lot of weapons bugs fixes. This is like, I'm looking at general, sword and shield, dual blades, long swords, hammer, hunting horn, lance, gun lance, switch axe, charge blade, heavy bow gun, bow, support hunters. Everything was fixed here. But I'm
Well,
looking, fixed an issue where VRAM usage displayed incorrectly. There it is. Fixed an issue where armor wouldn't display. Improved response time for using items. And let's
There are
see.
more VRAM about that.
Yeah, VRAM.
Adjusted the amount of VRAM used with texture streaming, resulting in reduced overall VRAM usage.
Yes, exactly. And that was a big one because I remember I was like, oh, it's not eating 16 gigs of VRAM anymore. So, and that was a little update, right? We got a little bit of performance fix there. Then we get to title update 3. Where is title update 3? Major update. Here it is. Yeah, 1.030. They fixed a lot of stuff. Bugs fixes for
They
monsters.
learned how to make their game.
And a ton of weapons again. Great sword, dual blades, lance, switch axe, charge blade, support hunters. Okay. Then we get, where is the... I don't see any performance things called out here. Yeah, I don't see any performance things called out in this update. But then title update 4 came. And that update was huge, especially for fixing, like, a lot of weapons got changes. There's huge like buffs and nerfs and whatnot. But I and everybody else who played this game knew that this was when the big performance update was gonna hit. And that's when they lowered, yeah, it's right here listed under system. CPU/GPU optimization will be implemented across all hardware. And they go in and explain how they did frame distribution, collision detection, and whatnot. Essentially, to summarize, I wrote it down as they reduced shader warming processes performed outside the shader compilation screen, which is when you boot the game up, to lower CPU load, which made the game run better. They drastically improved CPU and GPU processing. So it took, how long is that? That's December. Is that, yeah, December. So February to December, 10
Well,
months, right?
let's not forget the system updates for title update 4 came out in 3 waves: December, January, and February. So
Oh,
it
that's
actually
right.
finished in February. So it was a whole year.
A whole year. It
Yeah, that sounds about right.
a whole year to get to where we are, where we should have been at launch. Let's be completely honest.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's pretty unforgivable, even though I love the game. I think
yeah.
it's so good.
So, oh, wow! I just completely lost what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Capcom's president. Did I not write his name? Sugimoto, Haruhiro Sugimoto.
Kind of Japanese, by the way.
Stated that PlayStation was their primary audience that they were focusing on, and they had to do that because to reach their goal of 10 million units on launch month, which they did reach. However, coming up into late 2025, quarter 3 of fiscal year 2025, Monster Hunter Wilds was at the bottom of the list for all of Capcom's moneymakers. Not to say, well, to the investors, it wasn't making the money that they wanted. Mostly because
Yeah.
I think they severely underestimated how much the PC release would affect their revenue. I think they kind of downplayed because you mentioned this was their first simultaneous release on PC, right?
Yeah, every other one would be like at least a year or so from anything else to PC.
Right. And I think that's funny that it took them a year to get it where it should have been on PC. It's almost like, maybe they should have waited that year. I don't know.
Wow, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted them to wait that year because of how much I enjoy the game now, like in hindsight, right? But Would that have affected their numbers and their reviews? Probably, because a lot of the negative reviews on Steam are about the performance, and there's probably a lot of people who put that negative review, game doesn't run, who don't know about Title Update 4 and how big of a performance jump it was. I saw people running it on the Steam Deck now. That's crazy. But there's those people, those negative reviews are there, and they will forever have a sour taste about Monster Hunter Wilds in their mouth, and they won't want to go back. And if they're not friends with Monster Hunter fans, they're probably not going to know. They're not going to go read the patch notes, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, this game ran like crap. Uninstall Steam, give me my refund." That if they didn't have over 2 hours, there was probably a lot of refunds from Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't even think about the refund part. That definitely hurt their sales numbers for sure.
Yeah. So I will say, I see I'm not going to read all this. Negative review from June 9th of this year, titled "The Sad End of an Era," going over well, first he says, "I used to play these games religiously," and then says for 5 years, which, brother,
What?
that's Monster Hunter World. You're not. I mean, I'm not. I started on World 2.
You're not niche.
You're not niche,
So
bro.
there are people who just aren't too happy with the game, but I still, this goes into what I was telling you earlier, is Iceborne is considered a masterpiece, but base game World is kind of considered really bad. So
Right.
I'm not saying like, oh, it's fine, Wild's bad, but it's something that we've seen before where, and I don't remember his name sadly, but the director for Ascendance, who's not Ryozo Sugimoto this time, like with Iceborne, he started working on Ascendance before the game came out. He was playing playtest, the story and how he wanted to have the gameplay function before the game was released. So
Yes.
I think we're going to see the big comeback in sales as long as the performance is also increased a little. People are still complaining about performance issues in 2026.
Which at
I
this
think we're going
point,
to see a big comeback.
if it's running on a Steam Deck, skill issue. I'm sorry. Like, not
No, for real.
everything, not every game is going to be able to run on your 15-year-old gaming rig. But again, RTX 2060 is on the recommended specs. If you're running a 2060, $200 card from no, it might have been a $300 card from 2019, 7 years ago. I'm not saying,
This
oh,
would be
get rid of your
6 when
computer, you
Wild's released.
suck. But
But if I was,
it might be time for an upgrade because we can't run. Games are going to get more intensive. And I'm not going to shame somebody who's a baller on a budget and still plays on their 2060 and loves it. But eventually, like the 1080 Ti was the king of gaming PCs, and it's starting to show its age now, 9 years later. It used to be able to run games at 4K, high FPS when it came out, but now it's more of a 1080p card for more modern games. Hardware gets old, and while I'm not saying you need to upgrade your PC every year, some games are harder to run than others. Like, wasn't back in the day there was oh, but can it run Crisis or something like that, right?
no, yeah, that's right.
Oh, but can
Again,
your
a
computer
graphics
run
monster.
Crisis? Like, I think we're a little too critical sometimes about, oh, well, the
Too
game
moist.
doesn't run well. And it's like, there's a lot of different varieties of hardware out there. I get it. You should optimize your game. And how the game was on launch was bad. But if you're still complaining about that after Title Update 4, I don't see where the complaints are because I was able to play it on a handheld at like 70 FPS I probably had frame gen on. I don't remember. But even then, it was playable. It was a playable experience. So
Yeah, and that's the thing that really drives me up a wall is like if the game looks bad, especially Monster Hunter. I've said this to you a lot, Garrett. Um, I'm fine with Monster Hunter looking bad, but I need the frame. So I don't care
oh,
if I
for
play on the
sure.
lowest settings. As long as I have the frames, I'm gonna have fun playing it. Because for me, Monster Hunter is always the gameplay. And it's just you can get the gameplay with the lower settings as well. Sure, it'll look funky. It's always gonna be funky on the
Yeah, it's going
lowest
to look a
settings.
little
You're gonna look at
polygon, a little
polygons.
blurred. And I wonder
But
how much of the reviews are people wanting to run it at like, well, I've got this 1440p monitor, and why can't I run the game at 1440p high settings? Like,
yeah, it's it was this June 8th. Can't recommend the game. Current graphics bug cause instant crash. I never heard of that one.
now that could be is that the game's fault, or is it GPU drivers and Windows being really bad recently?
No,
Ask me how I know.
Yeah,
no.
Keep
I had
disconnecting my
constant.
monitors for me.
I was playing on Steam OS Monster Hunter Wilds, and I was having crashes, uh, and I was getting annoyed. But I know that wasn't Wild's fault. That was probably the driver for what I was using, and it was running through Proton. It wasn't running natively, but that's a whole nother topic. The game
Yeah, I mean,
is in a
it definitely
much
did
better
have
state.
crashing issues.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I had
Like,
some.
not to say like, oh, there were no issues with Monster Hunter itself. Wilds definitely did have issues with crash, but currently, I do think a lot of it is probably not aided at all by Windows/Microsoft saying, "Hey, you have to do a weekly driver update that actually makes everything worse instead." Haha, sorry, you suck. We hate you.
Another thing to mention, I
At least they're
think,
honest.
is I've got the Steam hardware survey here. And if we look at the Steam hardware survey, the most popular GPU reported from all the Steam users was an RTX 3060, and the most popular VRAM amount is 8 GB. Most popular RAM amount is 16. Windows 11 is the most popular OS,
Mhm.
and considering that, primary display resolution most popular was 1080p, and then most popular multi-monitor desktop resolution was 1080p, or like two 1080p monitors.
Hmm.
Considering that the RTX 3060 is the most popular video card, maybe that's why Monster Hunter Wilds just isn't gonna run at insane frames on a 3060, because the 3060 already wasn't that powerful of a card. Right? Like,
You're not wrong.
I don't know. I think some of the reviews still saying the performance is crap is just, I find it hard to believe, because in every scenario, whether I was running on low end hardware or my 7800 X3D RTX 5080, which completely shreds the game at max settings, I still saw performance improvements with Title Update 4 on both low-end hardware and high-end hardware. So I don't
Mhm.
really understand where the negative reviews are coming from, and I think people are sour. And if you don't like
I
the
mean,
game,
yeah,
you don't like the game.
I think, as with anything like that, I mean, it's becoming more and more of a trend. I think we talked about it before. If game released unfinished, and then they fix it given like the next year, and then wow, it's a good game. Um, and while I'm not wholly against the trend. Obviously, I can understand why people are starting to get more and more, how do you say, jaded to such. But it is still somewhat shitty of them to report issues that may not exist, or still leave a bad review for things that are no longer a problem. But I could understand if you said more directly, well, they released a broken game, and while now they fixed it, it establishes a bad precedent,
It
which
does,
I would
yeah.
still say it does.
Yeah, for sure. I
But
mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to get away from it,
I was just talking
unfortunately,
to
because they know it works.
a coworker of mine, and I was like, dude, you got to play Cyberpunk 2077. He's like, no, I played it on release. It was crap. And I said, yeah, but did you know about the version 2, like, pretty much game overhaul? No. Oh, well, it's a completely different game now. They completely redid the skill tree. Everything's different.
They did.
The expansion, like all this stuff. But because they're not like a Cyberpunk fan, right? They played it on release, they didn't like it, they put it down, they never came back. They didn't know about that. Same thing has to be going on with Monster Hunter Wilds.
It is, and that's where I think Ascendance definitely comes into play because I said before, um, World had the same issue of it. No one really. There were a lot of issues with it. It had performance issues. Everyone was saying it was too easy, and then Iceborne came out, fixed all the performance issues. It fixed all of these other issues that everyone had, and now it's considered the best Monster Hunter game in the series because of it.
Right, because of the
And
expansion.
so, yeah, because of the expansion, which is it still goes into the it probably should have released with a little more time and delicacy put into it. But hey, you can skip cutscenes.
And
But
I think that Ascendance is what they need to put themselves back in the news, in the gaming news, right? Monster Hunter, bring it back to the front. Games journalists will start talking about it again. It will be at the top of the digital storefronts. It will be at the top of Steam and whatnot for new expansion releases and whatnot. It will be what will cause people to come back and try.
it will, and I've already had multiple friends say I'm not going to play the game again until the expansion comes out.
Right.
So like the game is quite literally resting on the expansion, which I think is going to do amazing. It's-
They have succeeded with that before, so
I
I
think
mean,
Capcom is also quite literally resting on this to do well.
oh yeah, no, Monster Hunter makes up all of their revenue at this point, except
Yep.
maybe Resident Evil, but still.
And before we
It's-
get into the lore and a little bit of the controversies that you wanted to bring up for the previous game, Capcom did learn how to make a good game in this engine, being seen with how good and well received the PC port of Pragmata is, because that's the same
Yeah.
engine as Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yes, the re-engine,
Yep.
which I like, and apparently 96% of the 30,839 people on Steam also agree that they also, in fact, like the re-engine when it works.
When it
Because
works.
whoa,
never heard anyone. Actually, people even said, "Wow, this game runs so much better than Wilds." That's what I heard a lot of with performance.
And I just want to put out there, this is coming from, I'm not a Monster Hunter like veteran or whatever, like some others. It was my first, like, not my first Monster Hunter game. I played like 22 hours of Rise,
first Monster
and I
Hunter
played
game
the
ever.
intro in World. So I'm not going to say I played those games. So this was my first full Monster Hunter game. I have now clocked, and of course, this is nothing in comparison to your hours, but 227.4 hours of playtime. If you're watching the podcast visually, you're seeing a ton of gameplay of me sucking at playing longsword because I'm really trying to get good at countering and playing sword and shield. You're seeing a lot of Wilds gameplay here, which you're probably looking at right now if I didn't run out of B-roll. I really like the game. It is probably my favorite game as of right now, right next to Cyberpunk 2077, which ironically was another one that was performing bad on release. I love those two games, and I love Monster Hunter 1 because I can play it and I can go do a fight for like 30 minutes and it won't feel like 30 minutes because the pacing is just so well done in a fight with a monster where you can tell when it's getting tired, you can tell when it's starting to get weaker, and all that. It's so well done, and I think the combat is so polished in comparison to the previous games. In my opinion, I love the game. so much. It's really good. I'm super hyped for Ascendance. And the only other game that I can think I put this much time, I know there's, some of you have like over 1,000 hours in Skyrim, Ben,
I don't know who
but
that is.
I was a console gamer for a while, so I don't have like a ton of hours clocked on Steam, but Wilds is my top played game on Steam now because of that. And that's only been in the past year because I started in May of 25, right?
Mhm.
And those hours have been consistent. The only other games I have that matches that is I have total, because I went back on my Xbox account and added it up to my PC hours. Would be Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, where I have about 300 hours in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 because I just played a lot of that. And then I think I played Cyberpunk somewhere in the realm of 120 because I put 75 hours in on Steam, and I did a couple playthroughs on PS5 where I originally bought the game because I found the PS4 copy with a PS5 free upgrade for $20 at Walmart. And I was like, I'll try this game. And then I ended up loving it. But
Yeah.
all things to say, I think Monster Hunter Wilds is great. And for any of you out there who want to give the game a try, until July
Use our
9th.
free code.
No, until I wish. Until July 9th, the game is 58% off. So you can pick it up
Whoa.
for $29 right now on Steam. That's just the
That's
base
a
game.
deal.
And hit me up. I'm willing to buy it for you like I did everyone else.
Yes, so for context, he bought it for me. I got a new GPU, which got a free copy, which
True.
then I gave to Ben.
This is also true.
Yeah.
Well, then I've spent not on DLC. I have bought some of the DLC. I've spent over, I think, $500 buying this game for people. That's how many times I've bought it for
How much money
other
he's giving to
people.
Capcom?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. Shockingly, I have 500 hours in it. I think it's worth it.
True.
I don't know.
He's
about that.
averaging every 100 hours he puts in, he has to buy the game again.
Yeah, I've hidden that
This is
mark.
true. This is true.
I gotta find a new victim to send it to.
Yeah, so you've got what are you at 500 or are you like mid 500s? Are you like 550?
I'm at 498.
498.
So I'm
okay. So you've got a
Almost
little
having to buy a new
less. No, I math. Sorry. You've got a little over double my hours in the
Yeah.
game. So you can speak even more about this game. So why don't we jump into the topics you wanted to discuss on? However you
Well,
want to.
If you don't like Monster Hunter, you might want to leave.
Yeah, this is all
this
going to be
a
Monster Hunter.
big. It's gonna be a nice big look back at controversies from Monster Hunter 1 up until 6 or Wild. But I'm only doing the main games. I'm not gonna do like Freedom Unite, Frontier. I'm not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Do you
And
know
6 we already covered.
Do you know how many hours you have in each title?
I have 966 on World.
Wow.
PC Rise I have 262, and on Switch, I had I think 432.
Oh my gosh, on the Switch version. Yeah, I remember you playing it at my house for a while.
Oh
I played it a
yeah.
lot. I played it probably a little too well. Apparently, I played World a little too much more. But so yeah, I have probably about 2 hours on Generations Ultimate as well. But I'm not gonna say like,
Whoa.
ooh, I'm such a professional in
I'm such a-
Generations Ultimate. Yeah,
And these are
but
mainline
yeah, so
Monster Hunter titles.
Yeah. Well, Rise is not.
Oh, okay. I meant like
Yeah, Rise was a side game.
I meant like not Monster Hunter stories.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
gosh, stories. We're not going to talk about Stories 3. Game is awesome. Holy cow, and the DLC's terrible. But either way, want to talk about Monster Hunter 1
Sure.
from 2004?
Yeah.
I know everyone here really enjoys the drop system
2004.
for part
Oh yeah.
in Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah, I think
You
it's
know, you need that.
Yeah.
you break apart, you get a drop, and then you
Well,
carve.
you know, you like say you
Yeah,
want
it's
Jihad
it's guaranteed,
gem.
all right.
Yeah.
With
Yeah. So how would you say if I said that probably the most controversial thing of Monster Hunter 1 was in fact the grind for gear, which was somehow
you know,
worse than now.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this. You were watching
I
a
did.
video of
fight
some guy.
100
Yep.
Zinogres.
This part is going to come from an awesome video by Flyan2 where he's
Exciting
playing through
sources.
all of the Monster Hunter games to like see how they've progressed over time. And he found that to get the Fatalis armor and the like cool and awesome greatsword in it, I forget what exactly. I think it's like the Dragon Massacre. You need a total of 15 different wrath plates.
Wow,
You need
that's a little
Holy
bit.
crap!
you need 5 Rathian plates and 5 Arathalos plates for the Dragon Slayer, which is the weapon. And
Okay.
Fatalis needs 1 plate per piece of armor of Rathalos only.
Of
Ooh.
Rathalos
So you
only.
need 15 plates. Now, here is the kicker because, of course, Monster Hunter has the you carve a part, you carve a part, you get a part from it, and the end of quest rewards where if you break a part, you can get an extra part from there, or you just get a set amount of rewards from there. However, a plate has a 2% drop from only carving the tail.
Oh my god! Only the tail.
Only the tail.
You're kidding.
So,
And you in this
Mm,
game, did you still have to like cut the tail off to get a tail carve?
yes.
Oh my goodness!
2% times 15.
Oh
Wow, that
my!
is improbable odds.
Now, I don't remember how many hours and how many exactly Rathians and Rathaloses it took for Flyan to get all the full armor and the Dragon Slayer. However, it was in fact hundreds of Rathian and
Oh,
Rathalos, and
yeah,
probably
yeah.
hundreds of hours as well.
Oh my goodness!
If you
um,
just consider it from, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if
but
I'd
of
be able to
course,
do that.
that's fun. I probably would because I hate my life.
True.
Of course, that's pretty bad. But I wanted to talk about mainly a video as well, and a different one by one unknown YouTuber, at least here, Punk Duck.
I know that. I know that
Sorry.
guy.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy. Mainly the Dragon's Dogma 2 video, because in that
That's
he
not.
finds that the pitch for Dragon's Dogma 1 came out the exact same year as the pitch for Monster Hunter 1 in 2000.
Oh,
Now, Dragon's Dogma 1 was rejected at the time, and Monster Hunter 1 was accepted at the time.
bad idea.
So, um, and the main point of this goes into Punk Duck talks about how, it was Ryozo Tsujimoto, who's the son of Kenzo Tsujimoto, who's the founder of Capcom, um, was a part of Monster Hunter 1. But I have a little
Oh,
issue with that. In Ryozo Tsujimoto was simply the online system director and planner and wasn't a part
oh.
of the initial pitch by Production Studio 1.
And he
However,
hates his son.
it is still a fact that Monster Hunter 1, which I have a quote from Puntuck here. He says, I want to make it very clear. I'm not saying that Monster Hunter ripped off Dragon's Dogma. I'm just saying that if I had pitched a Western fantasy-based action RPG that I've been wanting to make my whole life, where you kill monsters and it has a focus on deeply mechanical combat, and that pitch got rejected, and instead a pitch that had the exact same DNA as mine, that was also a Western fantasy-based action RPG where you kill monsters and there's deeply mechanical combat, hearing that got approved instead of my pitch, I'd be a little annoyed. Which
Yeah,
I agree.
I can. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Because I mean
That's crazy.
it's I won't say it's sad because Dragon's Dogma still came out in 2012 and it was mostly good.
It was
Um,
alright, I guess.
it was, but it didn't get the same launch off that Monster Hunter did, because if Monster Hunter 1 didn't come out, we wouldn't have gotten, say, Monster Hunter Dose or 2, which, haha,
It's-
funny transition into Monster Hunter Dose, the second uh, mainline at least installment in the game series. Um, However, Monster Hunter Dose, from what I found, actually kind of flopped in Japan.
Darn.
Not
Really?
really
Interesting.
financially. It still made more than 1 did. However, it had a huge difficulty spike apparently.
Oh, I can
Yeah.
see that for some reason.
I went on a lot of different sadly Reddits, but also just different forums from 2000 and whenever it came out. And they were all like, yeah, no, this game is way worse than Monster Hunter 1. The difficulty from the starting areas is just the worst, which I think leads into why base world and base wilds are pretty easy. Is you're going to have the player retention from Monster Hunter 1 so they know the game, but you can't bring in new players if it's super difficult,
Right.
which you kind of need to bring in new players to keep making more and more off of the series.
Hmm.
But along with that, they kind of got a reputation, Monster Hunter at least did, for the hitboxes not being good in Dose. And apparently the prediction or the predicting of moves was also just a lot harder in Dose than it was in
Oh.
1.
Was it
Which,
telegraphed?
yeah, I mean, you have a really good mix nowadays, I think,
Yeah.
because you have like the faster monsters that don't have as many telegraphed attacks, but they don't hit as hard, and then you have like Rajang that takes a while to do some of his attacks, but if you're not paying attention, you get absolutely thrashed around.
I've noticed.
Excuse me. And yeah, that's kind of like the big thing that I got from Dose. But in Try, we had easily one of the most controversial releases to date.
Hmm.
That being the underwater combat in Try.
Oh.
But that's so cool.
Right?
Is it?
Doesn't
Like-
everyone like underwater combat? Everyone really
No.
Yeah,
liked
everybody
it.
liked the.
Yeah, everyone really
No?
liked Gladiatorus.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. If you pay attention to my B-roll footage, you can see a lot of my Monster Hunter gameplay is me completing all of the optional quests, and you can notice that all of the 10 and 9-star monsters are completed. And even in this footage that's being used for this episode, I soloed the arch-tempered, oh my gosh,
Utuna?
no, the fire squid,
New Udra?
New Udra, yes, which originally you called it my Achilles heel, and I soloed that fight in the B-roll here. But you know what I haven't fought on the optional quest? The 9-star Lagiacarus, because I don't want to. I
But it's
don't
so
want to.
cool.
It's easy now. I showed you how to fight it.
In the last episode, I did B-roll where I fought a 6-star, and I kicked its ass, and I did really good in the underwater combat. But I am not confident in myself to go fight the 9-star and have a enjoy. Like, could I do it? Could I do it? Yes, because I have.
No.
I have beaten one because I when I first tried to solo, not Proof of a Hero, but the quest before it, where you have to fight 10-star. Is it 10 or is it 9 in the triple monster fight?
The triple
fights.
This should all be 10-star.
Yeah, so I had to fight 10-star Uthduna, 10-star Lagiacarus, and 10-star Mizutsune all in a row. I ended up getting a timeout because I couldn't finish Uthduna in time, but I beat the Lagiacarus, so I know I can do it. But every time I'm on the menu and I'm like, oh, I got to go do that quest, I'm like, Or I could do literally anything else.
But just ask me to help you with it.
I mean, I probably will. I should suck it up and solo it. I should. But
But would you
Just
believe
continue.
if it was worse back in Try?
Oh, I'd believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because Try, not exclusively, but it did come out on the Wii, I believe. Which meant nunchuck and joystick.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
ew.
Oh yeah.
No, that's why you need to get the. Didn't the Wii had like a gamepad? Like you had to buy it separately, but it had like a controller. Didn't they call it like the Wii gamepad or something? Like the Pro
I guess that would make sense since it's a gamepad.
Wii gamepad. Yeah, Wii
Yeah.
Classic controller. That's what it was. They had the Wii
Okay.
Classic controller.
Now it did
But most
also come
people
out
were playing
on
with the
Wii
nunchuck.
U and 3DS.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
And there was a
But
Wii U controller as well.
Yeah, and I mean playing it with the little tablet for Wii U probably wasn't the worst. You're playing with basically just a controller
Yeah.
at that point, but really wide. But yeah, no, just the mechanics of it overall, they were really janky. They weren't fully polished. But even then, some people, even back then, said that they really liked the combat. Some people today look back and say, I still really liked it. But there's a lot of other people who say this is the worst thing that they've ever done. And sadly, Capcom listened because they gave up on it immediately. Which even people who hated it said, I hated it, but I kind of wish they went to improve on it because it's a really interesting concept, which I think that they nailed in Wilds with it being partial.
Yeah, not the
Or
entire
I
fight, but
guess
part of it, or not even a small
it's I mean
portion.
it's
The end
the
of
end
the fight.
part, but I mainly mean like not being able to use weapons underwater. I think that is what makes it good.
Mm.
Mainly because instead of flailing around with a giant hammer underwater, which though it is Monster Hunter and it's not realistic, they do try to be somewhat realistic. And
On
having
occasion.
that thing on occasion, having that thing would just bring you straight down to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh,
Maybe you're dead.
um, but it's just you can have the quicker fights with it. You can dodge a lot better. You don't have to take out and put the weapon away while underwater. Is you can just be very fluid with the combat itself. And I think they nailed it with the Lagiacrus fight in Wilds. And I hope that we get more underwater combat in Ascendance as well.
yeah. Full disclaimer: it's not that the combat is bad in the Lagiacrus fight; it's that I suck. Just full disclaimer on that.
Yeah, I can do it. I did
Oh, I
it.
mean that.
I mean, we did it together with that other guy, and we were out of the water in like less than a minute when we were all dodging perfectly.
Yeah, we locked in. We had to lock in, but when I lock in, I was able to do it. But it's also nice having another person where it's not aggroed on you the entire time, so you can kind of like get your bearings, and you're not constantly trying to dodge.
That is definitely the other thing with it is, um, you're in this unfamiliar environment, which is probably also what didn't lead to it being very good in Try underwater combat. That is not every monster was fully underwater, so or even partially underwater. So it wasn't the entire fight. Oh, it might go through a few fights and then you get rusty with the underwater combat.
Right.
That is what I think was a main issue with it. And it definitely is, you got to go back, try and do a couple attempts with laggy in Wilds before you get it down again. But yeah, no, of course you have to pay attention to the monsters in general, but you really have to pay attention to what the laggy Try.
Yep.
But that's enough about laggy and underwater combat. Because this next one is going to be a little short because Monster Hunter 4 and 4U were pretty good.
What?
They didn't actually have too much. There weren't too many complaints about Monster Hunter 4 and
Capcom
4U.
good.
I know. The main thing that I would see would just be like, oh yeah, it's still difficult. There's weird hitboxes, grinding. Some mechanics weren't. That's just Monster Hunter, sadly.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I saw on multiple different forums talking about Monster Hunter 4 was that the mounting mechanics in that game were really, really bad.
Huh. Interesting.
Because we know them now. You can knock someone off if you stun the monster, if you flashbang the monster. It'll knock your friend off.
Which is really unfortunate when when I've been knocked off when I was playing with my wife, and she didn't notice I was on the monster, and then she smacked. I was just like, all right, I'm about to take it down, and then she like smacked one of the wounds, and I was like, why? And she's like, what? And I'm like, why did you do that? And she's like, what? I did the thing, because she's playing dual blades. She's like, I was doing the and I was like, I was about to she wasn't paying attention, because you know how when to take the monster down, you have to create a wound. Well, I was creating a second one, right? I was being quick with it. I was creating a second one, and then she saw the one on the head that I made, and then hit it and knocked me off. And I was like, "Why? Why did you do that?"
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done that a couple times when
Time to get divorced.
When like I'm playing bow, I have to be greedy for all the wounds, and I'll be like in the zone and not notice you or the really good player on our team.
Me
mounted.
The really good player on? Are you saying that I'm not the really good player on our team?
Yeah, it's me.
No,
it is Ben.
Bro,
Yep.
Ben, it's literally not you.
You're wrong.
No,
That's
okay, not to tangent too far, but we literally had a game where it was my wife, Ben, and me fighting a 10-star Ray Dow, and they were both playing dual blades.
Oh, we're taking this one off the podcast. Actually, I think this is a good time to end this episode.
They were both playing dual blades, right? And
redacted.
I don't really think
in
anybody
Monster
likes
Hunter,
Monster Hunter that
you
much.
can
I don't know
have
if it'll do that
insurance.
well.
You can have insurance, which gives you an extra death, so you can die a total of 4 times. All right.
That's
so
true.
Here's what happened first.
Garrett
My
died
wife
all 4 times
died,
we laughed
and
at
I
him.
said, "Oh, looks like Ben's the best dual blades player." And then Ben
It was
died,
true.
and I said, "Well, I
It
guess
was
you guys are both the
also
same."
not true, but
And
notably,
nobody
no.
is the best dual blades player. Then my wife dies again, and then I say, "Well, I guess Ben's the best dual blades player." And then Ben dies again, and I say, "Well, I guess you guys are the." And then Ben dies. Sorry,
that was already
too
4
many.
times.
That was 5.
What are you talking about?
Yes, sorry, that was 5. You both died twice,
Actually
and we.
making this
No,
up.
I'm not.
Actually
I'm not.
lying under oath.
I'm not. I'm literally not. 4 total times. 4 total times. You
Bro
both died
is
twice.
so desperate
You both died
to
twice.
make himself look
Nope.
good.
Nope. I
Look good. Just
misspoke.
because you died 4
I
times, you don't have to feel
misspoke.
bad. It's
I
okay.
misspoke. I misspoke.
It's okay, Garrett.
Wrong.
It's fine.
Wrong. You're wrong.
It's no
wrong.
trouble.
This is
Nobody
nope.
worried
This is
about it.
fake news. Do not trust Ben. We don't like Ben. We don't like Ben here. My best friend, he plays Monster
Look,
Hunter.
I
My
gotta ask
best
you to
friend
back it
plays
up with
Monster
the
Hunter.
source
I
real
play
quick,
so
okay?
much Monster Hunter. Let me tell you, Ray Dow, Thunder Wyvern. Let me tell you, from the look of it, that must be this region's apex predator, a flying wyvern that rules the windward plains as its apex
Okay.
predator, and it killed you. It killed you. It adapted to the lightning that accompanies the sand tide with most. I have a Ray Dow mouse pad, and I'm just reading it. Its ability to discharge electricity in a powerful attack pose is a threat even most experienced hunters. That is straight from the Hunters Guild. I love the Hunters Guild, and Ben died twice.
Most experienced hunters. I'm most experienced.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
They just said,
Bro,
He's like level 2000 or something.
I hunter rank Mog you, bro.
bro, don't even act.
Yeah, you're like hunter rank like 104.
Pack it up, little bro. Okay.
Nope, I'm not packing any.
Let Thomas
wait.
continue his
Pause.
thing.
Pause.
That was
Anyway,
pretty good though.
anyway, continue.
So before we get into world and probably the biggest controversy in the history of Monster Hunter, to talk on 4, one of the last games to have this, do you guys know how moving to different areas worked in as up to Generations Ultimate?
No.
It's different instances. So you have a little hallway, basically, not even a hallway sometimes, it'll just be like an open area. and you get too close, and you're suddenly on a loading screen, loading into the next little zones. You know how Monster Hunter has like 1 through 15 or whatever zones.
Okay, so if you
Yeah.
got too close to the invisible wall, it would load you into the next one.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
would
like
load you
that.
into the other one.
Oh,
Fun fact: that would apparently happen while you're riding a monster. Yeah. So the big complaint with the monster riding, of course, people knocking off other people, which could just happen with a weapon attack, by the way, was the forced teleportation and dismounting of monsters, because the monsters wouldn't change areas. It would just be you. So
that's crazy.
that seemed to be
That's
pretty
crazy.
fun.
The monster banishes you to the shadow realm. It says, "Oh yeah, you
Because
want to
there were
ride
some
me?
areas-
Watch."
There were some areas where you'd get to it, and then you're just falling down a hole into a giant pit, basically. So, but yes, let's now move into our final controversy, and of course, as said, probably the biggest would be the second to last monster added into Monster Hunter World, Alatreon or Alatreon, however you want to say it. Where
Lytra.
Electro.
have either of you heard of Alatreon aside from me and or the
Nope.
other guy talking about it?
Nope. Nope.
Nope. Good. Because whoops. There was a big thing when Alatreon came out where everyone hated it. There was almost no one saying anything good about it. The fight's too hard. The special wipe mechanic called Eschaton Judgment was too difficult to reach and led to a review bombing of the game.
Oh,
Except also, what I want to bring up, because it's very big, is there wasn't actually a review bombing of the game. Everyone, if you look at people have made videos on the review bombing of the game. There wasn't actually one, as I watched a video by a man named Get Crunked, who he
trustworthy.
read every single review in English and overseas, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, and found that at the time, only 14.99% of negative reviews, or 115 out of 767, were about Alatreon, and 1.72% of total reviews at the time, or 115 out of 6,692, were also about Alatreon.
Huh.
Which
So-
means, no, there wasn't actually a review bombing of Alatreon.
Trust, the game is not bad. It's just being review bombed.
But that doesn't mean that people liked it. There were still a lot of people complaining about it because the meta of World at the time, and still kind of is with Wild, but that'll get into in a sec, was raw damage. And the way Alatreon worked was you had to use ice, fire, or dragon,
Good.
because you build up a damage, a hidden damage meter, and when you hit it, you knock Alatreon over, and that weakens the Eschaton Judgment, letting you survive it. Because if you don't get any, you can survive it, though you need 4 people with masterful coordination. Otherwise, you just die.
God,
Simply
Mazio's type
put,
beat.
you're down. Exactly, because as we get into it, people didn't like that. They didn't like having to actually think and build builds for the specific fight, even though the game tells you, hey, you need to have an elemental weapon for this fight. I looked at a lot. I didn't read every review. I did actually try to look at every negative review for when GOG Mazios came out, and none of them actually mentioned the DPS check, which, if either of you remember, is the exact same mechanic as Alatreon.
It is. It is.
You build up dragon damage to.
I'll be sure to write some reviews.
It's not even weaken necessarily the the Armageddon that it's called. It's just to let Fabius or any other shield user actually be able to block it. And all of the reviews actually came from his attack set pool is too small, which is kind of true. He probably has like 6 different attacks he can use in the entire
This is
fight.
Gogmazios and Wilds we're talking about?
Yes, Dogmazios.
Okay.
People somehow complained about having to swap weapon in the middle of the fight.
Huh.
The mechanic that Wilds added for the first time, that technically you don't even need to go back to camp to have a good build for. I don't. I just swap dual blades. People complained about having to swap their weapon. Crazy. But the main thing that people complained about during the actual Armageddon and final fight where he can like fly around and stuff was the fact that Fabius wouldn't shield a lot of the time, which I personally haven't run into. Though, a lot of people have. And they're like, oh, well, I don't play a shield weapon. Fabius he never does it. So, you just die anyway. And like, I think that's a little silly. I think it's a little blown out of proportion. As I think I've had Fabius not raise his shield once, maybe twice, and I fought Dogmazios, I think like 36 times now. It's not what they should be complaining about, in my opinion.
Right.
I think the issue with Dogmazios, first of all, is the tiny attack pool. And second of all, 10-star Dogmazios. Garrett knows this very well.
Oh, boy.
As Dogmazios allowed for the first time ever 8 total hunters in a fight. However, to actually build up the dragon damage in the last bit of the fight, 10-star Dogmazios, you can only run 4 players, and you don't get these special support hunters that are there and helping you do it. So, you need, kind of like with the Elatrion situation where you need 4 people who are perfectly coordinated, you again need 4 people who are perfectly coordinated to do the fight. And I don't think enough people are really complaining about 10-star Dogmazios being an issue. He's a pretty big issue in my opinion.
And if you have less people, the DPS check does not change.
Yes, because Dogmazios always has, whether you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 people, the same amount of HP. Which,
Yeah.
I don't know if 10-star is higher than the 9-star, but the 9-star version has 600,000 HP.
Woo!
That's a little.
Yeah. So
It's a lot.
there's issues. So yeah, that is the Monster Hunter World tie-in with Wilds technically as well, of Elatrion being tough fight. I soloed him the first time. I think people just need to get better. I saw a Steam forum saying that he was swearing out Elatrion, saying this is the worst fight in the game, and I'm like, sorry, dude, get better. It does come down. Monster Hunter is very.
Do you think he got better after?
No, because he said that he got people to do it for him. So
Absolutely monster mogged. That's crazy.
He did kind of get monster mogged. And everyone was mogging him in the comments of it too. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone was like,
"Wow,
dude,
everybody made fun of this guy and then he killed himself."
But yeah, as the Wilds controversy was already talked about, because that's just the
the
bad PC performance issue.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed learning a little about Monster Hunter's history.
I think that's what I have to take.
And go check out Monster Hunter on Steam.
Go check out Monster Hunter. Go check out Monster Hunter 1 on your.
Go see how bad it is for yourself.
PlayStation 1, I think, whatever it came out on. Go check it out. It's a really good game.
PlayStation 1.5.
Go check out Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam. Maybe not if you have.
Or ask Thomas to buy it for you.
Or ask me to buy it for you.
Yep. Actually, first person who comments will not get a free copy of Monster Hunter Wilds.
Especially if it's Jeff.
As we do this every episode, and he still hasn't
if Jeff
seen
is the
this.
First person to comment, he has to pay for
it. The Jeff man, if you got this far, I need you to comment. I love Monster Hunter World. And if you got this far and you haven't, seen Jeff's comment in the comment section right now, please comment. The Jeff man is my world.
And owes
Ooh.
me Monster Hunter
And owes
Wilds.
me, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Plus DLC.
Yeah.
Plus DLC.
Plus DLC, plus all the DLC, which totals up to only $562.
He could do that.
Wow, I need cosmetics.
Yeah.
I need more cosmetics.
That's within his budget.
That I will say that is the other issue with Monster Hunter, especially coming into World and Rise and Wilds, is they have so many cosmetic items.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only cosmetic.
Yeah, you don't need to buy
No,
it.
I know. It's
Horse armor.
I know some
optional.
people are still going to feel pressured by that.
Yeah, I do have big FOMO about. I mean, I have all of them. I don't have all of them.
This guy's literally
I wish I
lying.
did. And I'm literally lying. I'm a worse liar than Garrett is about.
I'd not be lying. That
He's died
MFer
so many
Ben
times.
did not beat 10-star
So many times
Arch-Tempered
right
Ray
now.
Dow.
He's
He
died
didn't
so
do
many
it.
times.
He couldn't
He's
do
so
it.
sad,
I'm
and he's
just.
so mad.
I'm not mad. The Forbidden Lands unit saw it happen. This is fake news.
What? I saw it happen.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Yep. Well, thank you all for watching the Gaming and
sorry if you
Gaming
made it this far.
Accessories podcast. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I won't buy.